Good morning, camera. It is currently 6:20 a.m. I am not up early. I am up late, because, well, explaining that requires me to rewind a couple steps. So, one step back. I was able to stay up late, without anyone yelling at me to go to sleep, even while making more noise than I normally would, doing so and watching YouTube videos out loud and having my lights on and the door open so I could enjoy the effects of the window AC unit in my brother's room, because I'm the only one in the house right now. I'm the only one in the house right now because my family is currently staying in a hotel, but I'm not with them. I'm not with them because the way the room was set up, I was sharing a room with my parents and by extension Duncan, and then my brother was in the next room. Here's the thing. Duncan freaks out during the nighttime at the slightest noise outside, and in the parking lot of a hotel, there are people, getting out of their cars, starting their cars, walking by at all hours of the night, and he did not shut up and I couldn't sleep. So I decided to stay here instead while my whole family went and stayed at the hotel. But, didn't end up sleeping because, I don't know, it's not circular reasoning, it's just bad reasoning. My family is staying in the hotel because they're currently redoing the carpets in our house and the floors. All of the stand upon, walk upon stuff. My room is currently the only room in the house that hasn't been torn up at all, aside from the basement, which never had anything other than a plain stone floor. Which means that not only is my stuff in my room currently, but also a great deal of my brother's stuff. And I'm not going to film it because I don't feel like walking down there and turning on lights because, without AC, it makes sense to turn all the lights off in the house. But the living room and kitchen dining room area is all just trashed. Just absolutely trashed. And you already know why the floors and carpet are being redone. It has to do with the burst pipe from now 2 weeks and a day ago, which decided to just soak 2 stories worth of floor/ceiling and had to have the flooring and the ceiling in above my parents' room removed so that they could point giant, very loud fans at it and dry out the insides so that water damage does not become mold. And the pipe burst because of, I don't know, normal wear and tear on pipes. Also, I got a haircut. I think this is going to be the longest intro I've ever made because it's currently now 6:22 and I've not even gone over what I'm doing today. Oh, also I got a haircut. I think you noticed that. It was doing this cool thing where this little strand earlier like curled under, but I ran my fingers through my hair without thinking and ruined it. I haven't gone over what I'm doing today because I'm not actually sure what I'm doing today. I'm probably gonna fall asleep at some point for several hours and wake up severely dehydrated and sweaty, but that's just a pattern at this point in the summer. I'm gonna probably be doing some cleaning in this room because it's trashed and not gonna get better, but eventually all the stuff in here has to get moved as well. And right now, that is going to be a difficult and potentially hazardous process, and I don't think the flooring workers deserve that, just because I have allowed mess to accumulate for months at a time. I cleaned my room. I want to say I cleaned my room right before the pipe burst, and it was the cleanest it had been since, like, the start of Legally Blonde. And, yeah, that all went out the window. It was defenestrated, which is my favorite word, and also one of the best examples of Latin roots in the English language. I got a 2 on my AP Latin exam. This is turning into stream of consciousness, and that's not how intros are supposed to go. The point is, I'm a mess, and I think I'm going to make something with a blender now. Because I'm kind of hungry, because I guess it's sort of breakfast time-ish. So here we go. I really did try to film a segment just now where I made this delicious, like, chocolate peanut butter milkshake thing that I'm gonna call breakfast. But the thing is, I was not at all kidding when I said my room is the least fucked. Like, my room looks tidy compared to the rest of my house currently. And, I tried to get a nice shot, but my dad raised me to believe that set dressing is next to godliness when it comes to photography and video, and there was no way to dress the set. There was no way to fix it. To give you some idea how messy it was, the camera was leaned against my parents' mattress, which is currently marking the border between kitchen and dining room, because the divider on the floor that has marked that border for years is just not there anymore. And yeah, no, I wasn't okay with, to give you an idea, it was messy enough I was embarrassed. That should give you some idea. And I'm aware that all of this is going towards the goal of making my home nicer, you know, despite the fact I probably won't live in it when it reaches this nicer state. But, like, I'm aware of all this. I'm aware that it is messy because they are putting in new flooring, so that they can, you know, prevent any secondary water damage, and, you know, we get new carpeting and new hardwood flooring out of it. Or maybe laminate, I don't actually know. But that doesn't change the fact that right now, it's pretty gross. It's not great. It's not gross. That makes it sound like it's filthy. It's not like there's, like, bugs crawling around or something. It's stuff. There's stuff all over my house, and I don't like it. I've realized in the past, couple months that materialism appeals to me less and less as I get older. And is that a good thing? Yes. Does it make me a dirty millennial killing businesses? Also, yes, probably. But there's a reason my family's all staying in a hotel, and if it weren't for my dog's inability to not scream when other people approach, or sound like they're approaching, or like a person on a TV makes a noise, I'd be with them. But I value my sleep, which was not indicated by the fact I stayed up long enough for all the birds to be screaming, and I'm currently walking around my neighborhood barefoot, drinking a milkshake. Like, none of that implies I value my sleep, but I swear to God I do. I saw another walker, and I am terrified. You know how I mentioned that at some point today I'm gonna sleep for like a couple hours just cause? Well, it's not just cause my body requires sleep. I'm gonna start that now, because it's currently 7:20, and my family should be showing up sometime in the next couple hours. Well, not necessarily my whole family, but at least, like, my dad, to let workers in to, you know, work on the carpet, and to make sure I didn't die. But yeah, I'm gonna power nap. Hopefully I'll be less, rambly after that, or I'll just be the hell beast I've always meant to be. I do feel less rambly, although I haven't, you know, talked to you in like 8 hours. Oh, by the way, time jump. But I also don't feel nearly as dehydrated or sweaty as I normally do waking up after a nap. Possibly because that wasn't a nap, that was 8 hours of sleep. But now it's about 3, and I'm going to get up and do things like shower, because even though I have essentially wasted the first half of the day, I do still think it's a good idea to shower when you get up. And I just got up, so let's get me more, like, sanitary. I didn't film this part because it would have been super boring to watch, film, edit, and upload. But while I was waiting for my brother to get out of the shower so that I could shower, which, by the way, took a full hour, and I'm not quite not mad at that yet, I got an email from my advisor basically saying she got my AP scores, and as a result I could switch out of the Calculus 1 class I was signed up for and go into a Calculus 2 class. So I rearranged my classes, and the main changes are, A, I have 15 credit hours instead of 18, which is probably a good thing, because every time I mentioned taking 18 credit hours, every college student I knew just looked at me and went, why? And then also the other difference is that my first class of the day, which is still my math class, is an hour earlier. Do I like getting up early? No. However, I need that credit, and I want to get it as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna suck it up, and I'm gonna do it anyway, which is fine. Also, I made myself another smoothie, but as I discussed earlier, set dressing is close to godliness, and the kitchen's still fucking gross. So, but I made myself a strawberry tea smoothie. It was very good. Or I guess it was kind of more like a... No, that'd be a smoothie, not a milkshake. I'm not quite sure on the distinction, but I think it might be kind of arbitrary, except for maybe that one uses a creamy thing as a base. But even then, that could be kind of interpreted different ways, depending on who you are. And again, I am rambling, despite the fact I keep saying maybe I'll stop rambling, but that's not my style. Currently, I am headed with my father to the hardware store to pick up a second AC unit, because, as he pointed out, it is noticeably cheaper to buy a second window unit like the one currently in my brother's room that allows me to live in my room and not die, provided I keep my door open. It's cheaper to do that than it is to book another hotel room, especially one that takes dogs and is non-smoking, which is apparently a very specific category among hotels in my area. But that's life. Free market, whatever, something. I don't know. I'm gonna try to take a sip of this and not hit a bump and inhale it this time. Success. God bless. Oh! I still just don't like this flavor, though. AC unit acquired. My dad is currently in the process of dropping some paperwork off at a FedEx office, but I, in the grand tradition that I have maintained from early childhood, am waiting in the car. And then we're gonna go pick up my mom. We acquired my mother, and then in addition to my mother, we acquired my aunt, who is in town. Hi, Aunt.
Oh, hey.
And currently, we're going out to get dinner. And we were going to go to the grocery store, but the grocery store deli section was closing up. So instead, I'm getting what I want, and we're getting Bojangles.
Bojangles.
Or as the cool kids say, Bojangles.
Well, turn it sideways a little bit better.
I think I knew that guy.
And after showing my aunt that particular YouTube video and watching my mother cry at it because she finds it funnier than I do at this point, I cleared the table and went up to my room. Well, you can, I guess, see that. This is all gonna be gone soon. Isn't that weird? It's weird to me. Anyway, I'm just gonna spend the rest of the evening doing quiet things, and by rest of the evening I mean the next like 12 hours, because I'm still basically nocturnal, but I'm not gonna film any of that. So, I think you know the routine by now. Thank you. That is all. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.